But one important thing was that the absence of genes known to be associated with things like heart disease and Alzheimer's was not found. So basically, the centenarians also have these genes that make you prone to heart disease and Alzheimer's, but they have, in addition to that, other genes that counteract. So it's not like, oh, there's some special people who, you know, they're just not going to get heart disease. It's not. They actually have the same risk that the rest of us do, but there are other genes that we're looking at to see what makes their lives longer. And maybe we could all learn something from that.
This process of genetics is becoming very popular. There's so many doctors involved. Did you know today you can have custom-made babies? You want blonde hair, blue eyes, you want white skin, you want 6 foot, or you want 5'5", or you want, you know, big hands. Custom-made completely. Yeah, most of the doctors are not going there. But folks, it'll be within 10 years, yours and ours lifetime, that we will see custom-made babies.
Well, in the middle of all of Hillary Clinton's trips around the world, being our Secretary of State, doing international negotiations, she has been busy planning her daughter's wedding. Chelsea Clinton is expected to be married on the 31st of July at the Astor Courts. That is a sprawling upstate New York home of John Jacob Astor, a prominent member of the Astor family, one of whom died on the Titanic in 1912. So apparently Mrs. Clinton has been trying to fit in food tastings and wedding dress fittings in between all of her work as Secretary of State.
I would like to see a tailor going on the plane. Okay, we'll stop at Poland, you give me a fitting, and you can take the plane back. It's kind of tough. But everybody does that. You know, we all have life. We are busy, and sometimes we have to make sure the wedding is planned properly.
Exactly.
All mothers go through that, you know. Here's a story from Wall Street Journal where it says, pension on the rocks gets an emergency shot of liquidity. It's about the Johnny Walker Company, these Scotch distillers, they call themselves. They are a little short of their pension funding. So the government wants them to fill the gap of short funding. Well, they did not have cash on hand. So what did? They put in 2.5 million bottles of Johnny Walker as a collateral.
Use the whiskey.
Government accepted it. That's the stranger part. You know, in Italy, folks, whenever one of these meat companies or the dairy farmers or the winemakers, if they need a loan, what they do is they actually give a collateral of cheese wheels. You've seen those cheese wheels? They put it in the, you know, temperature control warehouses, and they turn it over to the banks and say, this is our collateral.
Makes sense.
Sometimes the banks end up with a whole lot of cheese. But here in this country, folks, you know that whenever there's a shortfall in funding, you have to pay your money regardless whether that puts you out of the business or not. GM, Chrysler, these are the recent examples. 30% of GM is now owned by the union because they were not able to fund the pension. So I believe GM should have done it, which is, please government, accept the car inventory. Of course, that did not happen. But Johnny Walker says it was because of the recession. The value of their investments in that pension fund were sort of low, and that's why they have to come up with 2.5 million bottles.
There was a recent Indian TV show called Desi Girl, in which 8 glamorous contestants, all actresses in their own right, some of them TV actresses that people recognize, were sent to an Indian village, and they had to adopt a very tough village lifestyle by performing daily chores that included cooking, bathing, feeding cattle, and cleaning house. So one of these young women, her name is Roshni Chopra, actually won the Desi Girl competition. A lot of you may recognize her from the ZTV's popular serial Kasam Se. She's trying to make it into movies now, even into Hollywood, so she's got lots of dreams of going forward, and hopefully this Desi Girl experience of surviving the village life will help her in that process.
That is the Survivor series with a glamorous touch to it. Folks, thank you very much for watching Darshan Television. I wanted to request you that in case you feel that there is someone important that can be shown on Darshan Television, please write to us. Or if you feel that there are certain companies that they need to send out their messages to these 31 million homes, predominantly Indian Americans or immigrants for that matter, we'll be very delighted. As usual, you can reach us at darshantv.com.
Well, that's about all we have for you this week on Darshan. Thank you so much for joining us.
Namaste.
Namaste.